Hi, this is Victoria Vives Khuong, and this is the Divine Sexuality podcast, where women learn to tap into ecstasy in relationships, out of this world, multi-orgasmic sex, and achieve phenomenal success in their careers by connecting with the inner force that is sexuality. Remember to join our Facebook group so that you can connect with us and also submit any requests for themes in this show or submit any questions. And you can go to facebook.com/groups/ecstatic woman. After years working with women internationally, I found out that we actually have so much in common, no matter from where we are or where we live. So many of these issues can actually be resolved by just understanding them, by talking about them, by getting together as women and understanding that we all go through the same. One of these aspects is the lack of sexual desire. Sometimes our partners might be so excited to connect with us at a sexual level. They might be desiring us. They might be on fire, wanting to be with us and connecting at that sexual level. And sometimes we might just feel tired. We might not have the bandwidth. We might feel irritable. We might just don't have the desire to just go into that connection at a sexual level. And seeing our partners feeling rejected or just feeling that they really need to connect with our bodies at that level, that for them it can be so meaningful. It might bring fears of, are we going to stay in the relationship? Are they going to look for somebody else to fulfill that need? So all of this can create a lot of problems and insecurities in our relationships. And not only that, sometimes we might think, well, sexuality is something from times past. It was good for my youth, but now I have other priorities. But do we truly want to not live fully? Do we really want to let that part of ourselves dissipate? Do we really want to let our feminine aspect in that depth just go? These are important questions because they are pointing to the root cause of an issue that sometimes we might not even realize that is there. If you think of any of your favorite movies where there is a sex scene, normally we know how everything goes, right? Normally everything goes perfect. The hero comes and he's handsome and strong, but at the same time he's sensitive. He knows exactly how to hold the woman and how to do everything through the sex scene. So we idealize how sex should be. And when we go into our own story with our partners, they might have no clue of how to work with us, sexually speaking. So there is an expectation sometimes, and especially when it comes to the first time that we are with somebody, we might have this idealization of how everything should go and how they should know all these things that they have no clue about. So this can start creating almost like not the most positive memories, even though we might be forgiving in our own way, right? So we understand, we love them, but at the almost like in the back of our heads, we might still think, I wish for that I'm seeing in this movie or in this commercial. And we also see the female characters in the movies, how they look, how they are sensual, they are really holding that feminine energy and at the same time being sometimes powerful women. And why we cannot translate that into our own selves sometimes. So we start creating these expectations, these stereotypes, these ideas that sometimes they truly don't reflect our reality. And when we look around in our own world, we don't see that. And I have a lot of this perspective because I have worked in television. So I was surrounded by an environment that then I realized this is not how reality is, right? There is so much diversity, which is beautiful and enriching, and at the same time, it's not always reflected in the big screen. So that is just an example in the film industry. If now we think back to our childhood when we were hearing the fairy tale stories, which I used to love so much. And then we go into the story of a woman that perhaps maybe has not resources enough, but then finds this prince and he's the savior and he's so charming, so handsome. They both flawless physically and in character, so they have like no flaw. They're perfect. And they get together and happily ever after. That's all that we get to know. Of course, because it's for kids, there is no sex, which also brings an idea already into how relationships are. They are based in just this minimal interaction and just from a superficial perspective, just connecting by looking at each other's eyes and all these aspects that sometimes we women might enjoy so much. But there is no that bonding that sexuality brings. So that may also have an effect on how we envision our future as women. So now is that time. Now we're grown up. We are in that marriage, in that happily ever after. And we see that they might not be exactly how we anticipated. So now, as we are in a relationship, the honeymoon is over. And we face the day-to-day relationship. We might expect that we are going to have this flawless, asexual relationship, and it is not the case. So sometimes this, even if it is at a subconscious level, it can start creating a feeling of something is missing and a feeling of not really connecting at that deeper level with our partners. And this sometimes may show as this lack of sexual desire. At the same time, by referring to these concepts as fairy tales, sometimes it feels like, oh yeah, that's the fairy tale and this is real life. And sometimes we might get down into a more depressive perspective, which is also not helpful. So the important thing is to be aware what are the subconscious conditioning that are running our lives. How can we be more aware of them? What are also the subconscious patterns of our partners? And how together we can start having that conversation, start understanding that in reality, all is possible. So we can work on develop the relationship as we truly want it to be. This is something that you are creating with your partner. And it should not necessarily be because of the fairy tales were like that, because this movie was like that, but truly, what is that is important for you? What are your needs? What are his needs? And how together you can come to this unique construct that is going to be your true relationship and your sexual and romantic connection. So we are seeing how in our narratives, when it comes to sex, romance, and relationships, there is a lot that is missing, sometimes things that are misrepresented. So it is up to us to rediscover what our relationship and our sexuality with our partners is. Sometimes might not be flawless, sometimes actually might be kind of clumsy and messy, and that's okay. Because that is how we get to that bond, not only by the beauty, but also by the challenges and the things that might be not so easy for us. That is how we develop that ability to be vulnerable with each other, this opportunity that we might not have with other people. But with our partners, we can both grow together through that process of getting to know each other. This is the work that I'm so passionate about and that I love so much sharing with other women through the framework of divine sexuality, in which we meet with a sisterhood of women. Imagine all of us going through the same process of uncovering what is all these patterns of these subconscious beliefs that are running behind the curtains, and having that unconditional love and support, understanding also by seeing the process of each of them. Each of us are a little bit different, and at the same time, it brings further insight and further wisdom to the group. So it is an amazing, amazing experience, and I hope one day we can work together. To find out more about the sisterhood and this work, just go to victoriavives.com/ecstatic woman. And also stay tuned, we have so much powerful information coming up. Super exciting. I believe it is by healing trauma and redefining misconceptions that we gain the freedom to achieve ecstasy, profound intimacy in relationships, and out-of-this-world multi-orgasmic sex. I'm Victoria Vives Khuong, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. Bye. Mwah. I love you.